Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Sunday afternoon episode of Ted's Booze Cellar with me, your most gracious host, Ted. Now, I hope everything's good with everyone at home. If it isn't, then I hope it improves very, very promptly. But, I hope you're doing better than me, because I just took in the groceries delivery and I bashed my head on the counter while I was bending up to get some tinned tomatoes. But, anyway, on to today's episode, because I've got another one of the Beer 52 box beers to review today. I'm pretty sure that the entirety of this box that we're reviewing this time round is British, I think. But we've got this interesting looking one here called Nevermore, which is by Fyne Ales Farm Brewery, who were established in 2001. And Nevermore is a cold brew coffee porter. Now, cold brew is kind of like a type of coffee that you just have. It's basically like black coffee with ice and water. It's like an interesting way of like digesting coffee that I quite enjoy myself, but I understand why some people don't like it, because I know it is quite an acquired taste. But I'm interested to see how it mixes up in a sort of the form of a beer, because I've had like porters that have like coffee in them before, and they've kind of been a bit of a mixed bag. So I don't know. I'm going to give this a shot because I believe it's worth trying something at least once, even if you think it's going to be meh, but I'm interested to see what this is like. So it says on the back, dark, rich and roasty porter, cold and infused with smooth, rounded coffee flavours from whole beans. Simple, nice, gets to the point. Fyne Ales are a family-owned, they're a Scottish farm brewery, creating modern, ambitious and progressive beers since 2001. Alright, so, they are British, but they're specifically Scottish, so, got it. Ingredients include water, barley, wheat, oats, hop, coffee and yeast, and it is a 5% alcohol volume in strength. So yeah, it seems pretty standard, seems pretty normal. I've got to say, I do quite like the design of the can. Not many cans are like black and white, but this is very stark and quite interestingly designed. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because some of the design is a bit it's hard to figure out, but but it still looks like a very handsome can nonetheless. So I'll give the design of the can and the artwork a 9 out of 10. Very, very handsome. So we'll give ourselves a quick sniff of it first before we taste it to see what our first impressions are going to be like. Open it slowly because it seems to have fizzed up quite a fair bit, and coffee porters aren't usually the ones I'd associate with being overly hoppy and fizzy, but anyway, let's give it a sniff. Bit of coffee-ish. Quite subdued flavour there. It doesn't really smell of anything. There's a slight coffee, sweet cocoa-y tint at the end there. Give it a 5.5 out of 10. It smells okay. It smells quite nice, but it's just doesn't smell of much else. So I'm not really sure how to rate it. So I'll give the smell a 5.5 out of 10 because it's not bad a smell. It smells nice. It's just not particularly noteworthy, but then again, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. So I'll pour it into the old Beer 52 half pint glass and see what it looks like in terms of its colour and look. So yeah, you've got there a sort of very black, kind of looks like a cross between a craft porter and one of those Belgian Trappist beers. So, okay, once you pour it out, it definitely brings out more of the sweet cocoa-y sort of smell. There's a tiny bit of sort of coffee-ish bitterness at the back there, but it smells nice. Yeah, no, it smells nice. I think when you're smelling it out of the can, it probably is a 5.5 out of 10, but smelling it out of the glass, it's probably like a 6.75 for the smell, so yeah, it smells good. Alright, we'll have ourselves a quick palate cleanser of water before you see what it tastes like. And then on to the most important part of the video, which is to see what this tastes like. So, to everyone, bottoms up. Gotta say, that is one of the better coffee porters out there that I've had before. Because usually, most coffee porters tend to have quite a watery texture to them, and this does. have a slightly watery undertone to the texture. But because they've got quite a simplistic flavour, so you've got that sort of like sort of rich kind of heartiness that you get in a lot of craft porters, combined with a very simple kind of like bitterness throughout, that kind of finishes in this slightly dry, wet finish. I feel like the simplicity of the texture and the slight wateriness of it actually kind of brings out that coffee-ish flavour. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like in otherwise circumstances, I probably would be criticising the fact that the texture and the flavour of this is pretty simplistic. But then again, I've said before that sometimes simpler isn't necessarily worse. You know, sometimes some of the best drinks out there can be ones that are remarkably simple in their premise and their flavour and their presentation. So I think generally speaking, I'm actually pretty happy with this one. Yeah, there's like a watery texture, very light, very smooth, bit of a tiny tingle of a fizz, but like not anywhere beyond what you'd expect from a porter. And you've got this coffee-ish flavour throughout that is pretty much what I expected when I saw that this was a cold brew coffee porter. It's a sort of a light bitterness, slight nutty undertone, tiny bit of a sweet finish, but like very, very, very mild. Because that's the thing with a lot of coffee porters, I think like they get too sweet and they have a bit much of a weird, juicy, kind of overly sweet, kind of almost varnishy sort of aftertaste. But this keeps it simple. The finish is coffee-ish bitterness mixed with a tiny bit of like melted sugar sweetness, very, very minute. And then the finish of the texture is kind of a little bit dry with a tiny, tiny outline of wetness. So overall, this is a good beer. I'm really happy with this. I'm just trying to think of a flavour, because I think there's probably better stouts that I've had, better craft stouts, but in terms of better craft porters, this stands pretty high amongst them. So I'll give it an 8.5. I think there's a couple of things I could do better. I think the flavour could be a bit fuller. I think it could have a bit more of a creamier texture. And I think the watery texture isn't bad. It doesn't ruin the flavour at all, really, but it's just like I feel like it could elevate the flavour a bit more by having a bit of a fuller, more textured, creamier texture. And I think the smell could be more noteworthy as well. You could get a bit more of that coffee-ish note throughout the smell, but none of those criticisms I think are bad enough to sort of really downplay how good this beer is, because it is really good. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10, really well worth trying. Definitely recommend, definitely worth buying. And yeah, I will gladly go on my way to have this again, or buy this again for myself, because this is a damn good coffee porter. So well done, pardon me, well done to Fyne Ales Farm Brewery, because you guys have knocked it out of the park. So if you guys did like this video, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, leave them in the comment section down below. And if you want to check out anything else to do online, I'll leave the links to all that in the video description down below. But until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, wash your hands, take a mask with you to the shops, drink responsibly, know your limits, and I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Bye bye for now.